Hey there, Dan Hudson here. Welcome to my place. I'll give you a quick little spin around the neighborhood. And before we go into my studio, I'll show you the Curbside Museum, which is a small public intervention created by my partner, Enza Appa. The Curbside Museum is a small exhibition space built into the fence along our property line. There's new exhibitions about every 6 weeks. Okay, here we are inside my studio now, or at least one part of it. This is where I work on my photo and video projects, and then down the hall is my painting studio. I'll give you a quick little tour around. There's a concept drawing for a new video project I'm thinking about. Here are some cover shots and posters of my images from back when I was working as an adventure photographer. If you go down the hall here, we come to my painting studio. Some art supplies. As you can see, it's not a huge space, but it's pretty functional. There's some painting storage. And then down here on the computer is Ann Ewan from the Whyte Museum with a few questions for me.
So the first question is, or thought, share some insights into your artistic practice.
So I find it easiest to describe myself as a project-based artist. I first conceive of an idea, then I figure out which medium best suits that idea. Sometimes it's a painting, sometimes it's a sculpture, sometimes it's a video, or sometimes it's a photograph. I think of my art as artifacts of the process rather than the goal of the process. Most of my art projects are related to rituals that I perform. I devise sets of actions that require me to visit specific locations on a set schedule. The time frame I build into those sets of actions are generally based on astronomical cycles, like the Earth orbiting the Sun, which of course we have come to know of as a year. This painting here is a good example of a work that's based on a one-year cycle. I've been snowboarding in this area since the mid-'80s, and I've always loved the early morning light on Mount Bourgeot as seen from Sunshine Village Ski Resort in the middle of winter. It's hard to imagine that such delicate wildflowers grow in the same place. The process I devised for creating this work was to first scout out this location in winter. Then I returned every 2 weeks over the course of the summer to document all the wildflowers that grow in this exact spot. This is a work that preceded the Sunshine wildflower painting. The landscape scene in the middle of the painting is a location along Spring Creek near my house. It is a place that I pass 2 or 3 times a week. I decided to keep track of all the birds I saw in this particular spot for a year. The concept of this work is to show that each small fragment of this planet is a landscape that contains a complex ecosystem that we share with other living beings.
How has your creativity changed during the current global pandemic?
For me, it'll take a while to distill and creatively assimilate an event like this into my art practice. In the meantime, it feels a little bit like business as usual in the studio. All work and no pay. But the real challenge will be the far side of this pandemic for myself and a lot of artists. On the upside, right now I have a lot of time to work on projects in my studio. One of the projects I have been working on is a series of durational photo works. The idea is to document how the Earth's orbit around the Sun manifests itself on the surface of our planet, which, of course, we see as changing seasons. To achieve this, I photograph the same landscape scenes once a month for a year. So what I'm doing in the studio now is layering the sets of images from each location in Photoshop and then attempting to align them perfectly. The end result of this process will be lenticular photographs. Lenticular photographs are images that animate with the viewer's movements. In this case, the seasonal changes in the landscape are revealed as the viewer moves past the image.
What are you learning about and thinking about these days?
Like a lot of people during the shutdown, I've been spending way too much time on the internet. Lately, I've been loving this website titled Nature Sound Map. Basically, you can navigate the map to discover high-quality audio samples of nature from all over the world. One internet phenomenon that I found to be really interesting was Travis Scott's virtual concert in Fortnite. Technically, it was brilliant, a true interactive experience. More than 12 million people attended the concert as avatars, and each person was able to generate a unique experience of the concert by moving throughout the construct.
Gone on you with the pick and roll. Younger flame, he in sicko mode. Make this here with all the ice on it.
So, to answer your question, I've been thinking a lot about the relationship between an online experience and a real-world experience, especially when it comes to art. Right now I have works in 2 different museum exhibitions, one in Europe and one here in Canada. But in both cases, they're like ghost works, just haunting empty museum spaces during the shutdown. Meanwhile, cultural institutions, artists, and musicians are all scrambling to boost their online presence. It seems like this pandemic has accelerated our march towards a virtual existence.
What do you hope the outcome of these unprecedented times will be?
It seems that this pandemic has brought out both the best and the worst in humanity. So I guess I hope that we as a species can somehow land on the better side of what we can be.
Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
Well, thanks for checking in on me. If you'd like some more information about my art projects, go to my website. And if you'd like to connect with me on Instagram, you can find me at Dan Hudson Art.